Hey everybody, my name is Courtney and welcome to a VanHack success case. I'm joined today with Rukayat, who was hired through one of our Women in Tech hiring events, and we are so excited to have her here. We do have a Women in Tech hiring event coming up April 5th to 7th, so we really wanted to invite her on to tell you all how that experience was. Hey Rukayat, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, Courtney. How about you?
I am doing really well today, thank you. So I think I'm just gonna jump right in. We'll go over some questions. So today, for everyone here, if you do have any questions, please feel free. You can type them on into the chat. Once Rukayat and I are done talking, we will open it up to some questions and we'll answer them for you. So Rukayat, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Like you said, I'm Rukayat. I've been a software engineer for over 4 years. Prior to working as a software engineer, I used to be a creative designer, and I'm the type that actually go into software engineer out of curiosity. I wanted to build my own Photoshop tomorrow, which is how I feel like, yeah, I have to be a software engineer. And then I found myself um, like self-learning software engineering, and here I am today. I took up some challenges, and oop, it makes sense.
That's awesome. I really like hearing when people are kind of a bit self-taught because that's huge, right? In tech, is a lot of people kind of teach themselves how to do a lot of the stuff that you do. Um,
Yeah.
so, what made you decide to look for a job abroad?
Oh yes. So at the process of being learning on my own, I found out a company which is Andela, which was the first company I worked with. I joined their boot camp, and during their boot camp, I kind of like their culture. I like the way we've been taught. We're not just taught to be a programmer. We are taught to be like everywhere we go to stand out, and
Mhm.
that made me fall in love with bringing that culture to Nigeria. And yeah, I worked with Andela for over 3 years, for like 3 years, yeah. So while working with Andela, I've always worked with foreign companies because Andela kind of partner with companies in the US, and joining those companies, kind of like their culture and everything as well. So which made me fall in love with, yeah, there are companies here in Nigeria that are now using that kind of culture. Everyone is not just like, oh, my boss, my boss. Everyone like is free to talk to each other. Your opinion is valued and all sorts. So that's like the number one interest that make me like serve for foreign companies. And
Mhm.
then I love the culture, and then the fact that the collaboration everyone is loving and so on. So far, the companies I've worked with abroad, all of the companies have like top-notch culture, like very similar. Yep. And then so I'm going to say that life-changing experience also. So anywhere I found myself, I want to make impact as to the team and as well to myself. So
Mhm.
right. So I'm making I'm creating a, like, I see myself in the next 5 years. This is what I want to be. So I have to like soar to explore everywhere and see how it is. And that doesn't mean I want to work for a company, not like 1 year I want to live there. No, but I actually want to leave like a good legacy everywhere I found myself.
That's amazing, and I really like that because there are some folks that, they wanna just kinda go and work and that's it, but the fact that you really wanna leave a lasting impact is really great. So next question for you. What made you decide to join VanHack?
Oh yeah. So in the process, like I said, while working with Andela, I know that we work with Andela partners, which are foreign companies, like most in US, and I've never gone through the process of going through submitting application to foreign companies,
Mhm.
right? Submitting like a CV, doing the interview process. All the process I followed is like in-house interview process with Andela, and then Andela gets to like share your profile to the company as a great fit for that position.
Oh.
So after I left Andela, so I have tried applying to foreign jobs on my own. I found out some I don't get a response at all. I found out some I just get a no, and I'm like, what? How? And funny enough, some I might get a yes if it is probably a referral. I might get a yes, and then in the middle of everything, all there's no like a concrete reason why I'll be getting a no. You get?
Mhm.
It's just gonna be like general message sent to everyone. There's no like a contest message. This is what you do. This is not you're not doing right. And at some point, I feel like I'm tired.
Yep.
I'm not applying. I am tired. And a friend just introduced me. Funny enough, I've always, when I was in Andela, I've always been seeing VanHack email on
Mhm.
my like notification, but I honestly don't usually put attention to it. And so a friend of mine just said that his name is Sheon. He just said that why not try VanHack, and that was why I go through VanHack. First it was the English education exam,
Mhm.
and everything was making sense. I was getting the response I want. Sorry, I don't just want a general response like no, we know you are the best and you should do. No, I actually want a concrete. If I'm not doing well, let me know the angle I'm not doing well so I could bottle up and then apply for another job. And I
Exactly.
found out that with Van Ark, um, you kind of like the first process. Van Ark makes you like know your feet for English language,
Mhm.
and that's top notch. That's like sometimes I feel like I think I talk too much. I talk so fast, right? No, not too much, so fast, and I don't know. I need someone to rate me on that. Are you even hearing what I'm saying at all, and all sorts? So, but with Van Ark English verification, I was able like seeing this call. I know that, yeah, I think
Mhm.
I'm making sense.
You're definitely
So,
making sense. Yeah.
yeah, and the coding challenge also,
Mhm.
and there's one amazing thing is, irrespective of any clients you apply to in VanArk ensure to follow up. Like, what stage are you now,
Mhm.
and how is the process with the interview and so on. So that's how I found myself in VanArk. So you are in a good place, everyone.
So you kind of brought something up there where you said that you'd seen Van Hack, but you were ignoring it. Uh, it's funny that you mentioned that because we hear that from Van Hackers a lot. Is that they're like, oh, I kept seeing it around, but I was like, I'll just keep doing my own thing, and then eventually, once they join Van Hack, they are, successful like you. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think it's just kind of it's funny, and I definitely get it if you're not familiar and you're just seeing like this place pop up and you're getting the LinkedIn messages from our recruiters and they're like, "Hey, join Van Hack." And you're like, "No." But please join Van Hack because we definitely pride ourselves on, following up and making sure that you are getting the feedback and you are, able to
Yeah.
put your best foot forward, really. Because, like Rukaya was just saying, she was worried she was talking too fast. I do that a lot too, but it's always helpful to have someone that's completely unbiased just be like, hey, this is what maybe you could work on to be more successful in landing a job. And I think that's a great thing that Van Hack does is that we will give you that constructive criticism and feedback.
Yeah.
So you kind of touched on this a little bit, but how did Van Hack help you on the journey to getting this position?
Oh yeah. A lot of, just like I said, Vanna come into place in a lot of way. So sorry about that.
That's okay.
One sec. So it's a power cut. I'm still in Nigeria. I've not relocated. So power cut happens. One sec, please.
No worries. So for those watching, Rukayat is still currently living in Nigeria. She has not relocated as of yet, in the process of doing so. So I'm guessing she had a bit of a power outage that she's working with right now, but she'll be back in a minute.
Yep, I'm back. Sorry about that.
It happens.
Yeah. Okay, so to your question, like I said, VanHack come into place a lot. From getting like giving you a follow up on giving a follow up on what your interview with the companies or the response with the company. Aside from giving you follow up, they like give the company follow up also. Like that something I guess company is gonna feel good that they are not just hiring any person. They feel like the person has passed through Van Hack like a verification before the person could get to the stage. Then Van Hack like recommended this person. So the recommendation is very important.
Mhm.
And then also the fact that you have a mock interviews with some people in Van Hack sometimes when you get to like almost the last stage of the interview, someone just reach out to you, you have to schedule a mock up and then get yourself prepared. This job, we have to get it. So in VanHack, it's not as if you have to get the job, is we have to get the job.
Yeah.
So yeah, so VanHack has been wonderful with all those parts. And then last but not the least, the events that comes up. Take for instance, probably you've always been submitting CVs and the website, and then there's a lot of competitive. Much of the role are quite competitive. There's a lot of people applying as well, and you've not been able to like get a yes, or your profile hasn't gotten the stage of screening or any screening. The events like the Woman in Tech events and some other events will be able to help like showcase you more than just submitting your CV. So VanHack helps with that also. And yep. And one thing you can do for yourself is be proactive.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, being proactive is always great.
Yeah.
And you've touched on some things that I want to ask you again, but when you were going through the practice interview, how was that? Like, did you find it helpful to have the practice interviews or the mock interviews?
Yeah, sure. I found it helpful. There was a time I was having a call, like the mock-up interview with Marina, and she's like, "Why do you want to work in there? Why do you want to travel abroad to work for them?"
Mhm.
And then my answer was like, "Because I want to experience this." He said, "No, don't let it seem like you want to use their job to come to use
Yeah.
their job to come there. You have to like let them know that you are giving them what they want also, right? And
Mhm.
also let them know like you have the culture is important. So you know that moving there will make you like it's going to be physical learning. It's going to be physically learning from people than just being abroad. Yeah. So
Mhm.
the you get to like the mock interview, you are going to be asked like normal questions you're going to be expecting for interviews. And trust me, it will get you more prepared for your interview. Yeah, it will get you very prepared. Because I know I answered that's like a three questions or four wrongly. And then with what she said, one of the question, not even one, two of the questions was asked during the interview. And boom, I answered it like more of like it's not as if I cram what Marina said, but then with back, I was able to answer it thoroughly. Yep.
So it helped you be more confident when you were going to interviews, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah. Yeah, that's one of our main goals is to with the practice interviews is to really help folks be more, confident and feel like, yeah, I got this. I'm gonna crush it. That's amazing. How did you feel when you got the job offer?
Yay! I feel happy. Just like I said, that the companies I've worked with abroad, it's been like Andela sharing my profile with them and making them know that this person is a great fit. But when I got the offer for this one, I feel happy like I did it on my own with the help of VanHack. So like I went through the interview process in as much as it's like I think it's 5 interview process. I went through it and yeah, I'm a champion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like a champion actually.
Amazing. I'm so glad that you felt like that because it's a great feeling. Uh,
Yeah.
so, was there any point during your job search and during the process that you were like, "No, I don't want to do this. I'm gonna give up. I don't want to do it anymore."
I'm gonna say that happens before VanHack. So, like I said, that keep getting no, or there's even an interview I did, not interview, coding challenge, and I'm sure of what I did. You shouldn't be too sure, but I'm sure of what I did, and I also shared it with people to review, and then I got a feedback like I didn't make it dynamic. I'm like,
Mhm.
are you sure you review it because it is dynamic? So the feedback makes me feel like it seems there's a lot of people that applied and then they didn't just review some because what the person is saying I didn't do, I did it. And then at the end of the day, the person didn't respond. And I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm going to go back to Andela community. I'm
Mhm.
done with this. But at the back of my mind, also, I'm like, I want to learn more. I want to explore. I don't just want to stay in my comfort zone. I want to learn more. And yep. But ever since I joined VanHack, I don't think there's any time I feel like, yes, I've applied with so many companies before I got this, but at least I'm getting the feedback that I expected. So I didn't ever feel like I don't want to do this again. Instead, I'm just buckling up for the next company. Yep.
Yeah, and that I think that's a good point too, is that even when you even when there's feelings of like, I don't want to do this anymore, it I think it's really important to know that it's okay to take a break, right? Like it is totally okay to pause and maybe reevaluate or, is what I'm doing working? Is there anything that I need to do to make this work better for me? And just really breathe because job searching is super stressful, especially when you're looking, in different countries.
Very
Uh,
right.
So I want to ask you a couple questions about the Women in Tech event that you participated in. So, how did you hear about the event?
I heard about it from Slack advert and then Van Ack website notification that just pops up and say like, hey, there's an event coming up. Save a seat. Yeah.
Mhm. And how did the event go for you? Like, was was there hiccups? Was it smooth? Like, did you enjoy it?
It went so well. The event is like you're chatting. Yeah, you're chatting with a lot of people. You're getting to meet people, and within some little time, little minutes that you talk to them, you get to like pass something to them, and then you digest what they pass to you as well. And I feel it's not just you submitting the CV and expecting a response like that. You get to talk to the hiring manager or anyone that joined representing any company, and then the person might show interest with the person's interest. You get to like, can you submit the CV directly to me and all sorts. So this is not like an anonymous thing. You get to have known them before that, before submitting your CV. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that I think is great about the events is that it can take away some of the bias too beforehand
Yeah.
because the companies that attend VanHack events don't see your CV, your resume, your VanHack profile. They don't see anything until you are in front of them and you're like, "Hey, I'm Courtney. How are you?" So instead of having like that moment just inherently if they see something that they don't necessarily like on the resume or or anything like that. It's really a good way to make a good first impression, and then they're like, you know what, doesn't matter what the resume looks like, I liked them and I want to talk to them more.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what was the process for you after the hiring event? Because I know some of the companies we work with move super fast and some take months. So how was the process for you after the Women in Tech event?
Okay, so you're talking about the company getting back after talking to
Yeah,
them, right?
yeah. So how long
Oh
did it
yeah,
take?
sorry about that. Yeah, the process is kind of fantastic and funny. I said funny because I'm eager to like I talk to this person and he likes the way he likes me. Yeah. Why is he not getting back? So and what did is that just like I said, be proactive. I reached out in the channel to know if I could reach out to them myself, like considering that we've spoken before, I felt this and that. And then I was given a go ahead and then I started like constructing a mail. I didn't make the mail look like I'm bugging them. I just made it look like it's a continuation of our conversation since we don't have enough time to talk.
Mhm.
So, what do you think? And some of them said, I should send my resume. Some, we just go ahead with the interview process. And this company I got the offer particularly, I didn't have to, I didn't even speak with them during the event, right? But one way or the other, they know I'm part of the event. And the person already reached out to me on VanHack website, like, hi, I noticed you have this. Will you be interested in this? Right? I said yes. So 1 week after, I didn't hear anything. I said yes, and he said he was going to get back. 1 week after, I didn't hear anything. I'm like, now it is 1 week. I have to like drop the mail and say that, hi, Nadim. I feel like you haven't responded. I'm just circling back on what we said the last time and so on. And then he was like, he even appreciated the fact that I reached out. He didn't
Mhm.
respond on the Viber application. But I also, like I said, don't make it seem like you're bugging them. I also went ahead to the person's LinkedIn
Mhm.
and then I noticed I can't send a message without adding him on LinkedIn. Immediately I had him on LinkedIn. That he knew my name. So immediately I added him. He accepted it or the other. I guess he was like,
Oh no, we have lost Rukayat. There, wait, she's coming back. The joys of virtual meetings. We'll give her a second to come back on. I'm really appreciating the laughing faces coming up, y'all. It's well, okay. No, Rukayat, we can't hear you. We've lost you. Okay, well, she is trying to come back. um, I guess I will kind of talk about VanHack events a little bit since you're here and we're talking about success cases through a VanHack event. So basically, our next Women in Tech event is coming up April 5th to 7th, which is, we're super excited about it. We have some, you're back.
yeah, I'm back. So sorry about that. Yeah, Nigerian network.
Okay. It happens.
Yeah,
The COVID era of virtual meeting.
exactly. Okay, so like I was saying, sorry about that for the interruption, everyone. Like I was saying, so I reached out to him on LinkedIn, and then I remember his response. He was like, "I like the fact that you're proactive. you reached out even when he hasn't gotten back to me, something like that. Like I said, don't let it seem like a bugging, right? Even with the fact that he accepted the invitation, he didn't respond to the message immediately, and I can understand because sometimes I see messages myself and I'm doing something, I might not respond, right?
Mhm.
So just give it a little time and then let the person respond. And yeah, like that, he didn't even ask me for my. I think being proactive is one of their cultures. So he fell in love with that, and then he even forgot to tell me to send CV. I think he didn't. I'm just joking. He didn't forget actually. He just skipped the part of sending the CV actually, and then be like, "I want to have an interview with you first." Honestly, he wasn't the one that's supposed to like have an interview with me at first place. But then had an interview with him, and then everything was going so smooth. And then there's always a follow up from VanHack. How was the interview? I'm like, yay, it makes sense, and then we are moving to the next step. So like that, and also, um, I get a coding challenge, and then I get to like after the coding challenge to come on a call with two engineers to defend the code. Nothing tough. It's just like talking about what you did actually,
Mhm.
and then them giving you feedback or telling you how best you could do it, how better it could be rather. Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
what helped me after the event is being proactive. Like I don't just want to sit down and wait for them to get back, and I
Mhm.
also didn't bug them.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a fine line, right? Of reaching out and being proactive and then also being kind of like stalkery and bugging people. There's a very fine line and it
Yes.
not everyone can get that in a good way. So it's amazing that you were able to do that because if you're sending messages every day, that's too much, right?
Yeah, it's too much. Way too much.
And it's I really like that we have you here today because you are a great example of someone who was hired through an event, but you didn't talk to the company at the event. And it happens. And a lot of folks get worried about that because they're like, oh, well, I didn't talk to everybody. And it's like, that's okay because they'll still see your profile. You can still
Yeah.
get interviewed, you can still get hired, even if you didn't get the chance to meet them during the event. Um, Companies still get all that info. If you if you're at the event, companies get your info. So um, that's awesome. And I know that the event that you attended was before I even started at VanHack. So
Wow.
um, were there any prep classes beforehand, or was it just you're selected and you go?
Yes, there's no prep class. You just apply that you want to attend for the event, and then they
Mm,
like screen your profile to see if you're fit to join the event. And then once they've accepted, then they segment everyone based on the stack because
mhm.
the event is splitted into like I think 3 days.
Yep.
The first day like JavaScript, the second day some other yes, all sorts. And then
Okay.
you have to like market yourself.
Mhm. So that is an improvement since Rukayat was attended an event at VanHack. Is now that any VanHack event that we are hosting, we have preparation classes leading up to the event. So we talk about elevator pitches, technical interviews, how to prepare for an interview. Um, I do a stress management class because I think that's super important. So there's a lot that goes into events that we're always improving, we're always getting better here at VanHack. So yeah, I think the prep classes are really, really great. And I think I can see Rukaya like nodding, like, "Ooh, those would have been nice."
Yes, because I can use the mock interview also to be a judge for the prep class. So I know it's going to be a great value.
Yeah. Yeah. So the mock interviews, the practice interviews are great for that, like one-on-one, like we give you feedback. But our prep classes are really awesome. So if you ever attend, obviously Rukayat is gonna miss out on those, unfortunately, since she got a job. But for those attending events coming up, please attend, because they're very beneficial. Um, in the past few events, the folks that get interviews and offers the fastest are the folks that attended classes. So kind of tooting my own horn here because I'm the one that hosts the classes. um, okay, so kind of getting back to Rukayat because I took over a little bit there. So I know the company that you were hired at is based out of Toronto. Um, how is the process going of getting to relocate? Because I know you haven't yet.
Yeah, so the process is going fine. So considering that this is the first relocation process the company will be doing from Nigeria, so it's taking a bit time for them to get some documents ready. But hopefully, I think they'll be running up with the documents soon and then applying for the LMIA. Aside that, VanHack, I've been assigned to one person in VanHack who I can reach out to for clarification on the application over here. I've kind of like VanHack has explained the part I need to do from my own end, the things I need to get ready, and all sorts. Which I've gotten them ready. So I think the process, honestly, you don't need to like overthink. There's always somebody in Van Act to let you know the necessary things to get and what to do. So you don't need to like start making research on your own. So yeah, it's been going
Yeah,
fine.
that's a great point because our global mobility team is awesome and they're always, on top of it. So you don't have to worry too much about finding out like what do I need to do? What do I need to do? Because somebody will tell you. Be like, hey, you need to do this. um, okay, so do you have any tips that you would want to give to Van Hackers who are looking to get hired? Like, what's the one kind of best practice that you would have for folks?
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to say, don't be like me that I was having initially. I was submitting like a long CV, and then I found that even it could be tiring. So make sure you summarize your CV with genuine points, and then while working at what you while writing what you did at a particular company, make sure it's not just something like I work with the team to review the code. I did this. No, like explain in detail. For instance, I'm going to make an instance. While working with Andela, I was part of an internal team that worked on building an internal project called Lincoln, right? It's a mentorship project used internally. So if I'm going to add that to my CV, I'm not just going to say that I work with a team that builds Lincoln, the mentorship. I'm going to say that I'm part of the team that saves the company quite a lot of money to pay. You get to pay for a mentorship application because we actually built an in-house mentorship application that works faster than even you can imagine. Just kind of market your what you were going to say and then make sure it's summarized as possible. And when you're applying, there are some companies that actually require request to send a cover letter. At that
Mhm.
part, I get to know that most companies with that step, most companies get to like feature out the people that are just sending random CVs. But with the cover letter, make sure you like explain, let the company know from the cover letter that you went through the job details, you know what their company name is, you know what you're coming into, and you feel you're a great fit, right?
Mhm.
Like that, I'm sure they will pay attention to your job application and not just I am this 4 years experience, which I've always do, and then I will not save it somewhere and then send it to random companies, right? So
Yeah.
it's it's kind of on seriousness. So it has to be like I know what I'm applying for. It has to be written in your, like, how do I say, your cover letter has to speak that out. With reading your cover letter, then I'll be able to know that this person really go through the job details, right?
Mhm.
And so there's one feedback I also got during my interview process. Also, smile. Maybe because I like laughing a lot. I don't know. Like, smile, it's not the end of the world. Even if it is a coding challenge where you have to code, laugh. Even if it is a question you feel, what is this question? Ask question. So
Mhm.
I've had an interview whereby I was giving something, and then I messed up. I knew myself that I was supposed to ask question, but because there's kind of a panic attitude, I messed up and then I jumped into the code, not knowing that the question is not complete, right? I'm supposed to like ask a question that, wait, how can you say this should start from this certain point? You get, not just jump into the code. Most of the coding challenge, they don't just want to know how well you can write code.
Mhm.
Want to know how well you can solve problem. And in order to solve problems, you have to ask a lot of questions and understand the problem correctly.
Yes.
Um so that is that. And what else am I going to say? I've been saying be proactive, be proactive, be proactive, be proactive. I'm sure if you're very proactive, it's going to show in your interview process, because it's not just going to be the company asking you question, asking you question, asking you question. You will be able to like create a conversation also and ask them a question. Like that,
Yes.
to like enjoy the interview and they will not forget you. That's one thing about that.
Yes, and that is like it's about building connection, right? Because
Yes.
all like all the Van hackers on the platform, you all have amazing skills. You can all, check the boxes of what people are looking for on like the technical side. That's
Yeah.
awesome. But when it comes to interviews, the connection and the rapport building is what ultimately will get you hired, right? Like they want to get to know you as a person. They want to
Exactly.
know that you are excited to be there and that you
Yes.
know, if you're just like monotone the entire time and you're just like, I did this project. It was this project. Like it's boring, right? And
Yeah.
like you were saying, Rukaya, you need to show how you add value. So it's not just about what projects you've worked on, it's what did you do in that project that added value to the company. So did you save them money? Did you, streamline processes? Whatever you did, that is what is really important to get across.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Amazing.
those are the tips I could share.
Thank you. I don't have any questions for you anymore. So
Woo.
we are going to open it up. If anybody has any questions for Rukayat, please type them on into the chat and we'll answer some questions for the next about 10 minutes. And yeah, okay.
So I think,
So I see one question here that I can answer. So how does somebody attend an event if they only have 3 to 4 years of experience? Um, I miss these events when they ask for 7+ years. Are there other events for people with my expertise that could join? So yes, our senior developer events are 7+ years experience. However, our women in tech events are typically at the 4 year experience level because we know that women in technology are sometimes very like you're newer to the field, right? Not every female in the field has 7+ years. So those events do come up. So please just make sure you're checking. Yeah.
you.
Um, and I lost the chat. There it is.
So I think,
How hard is a coding challenge?
oh, not hard like that. It's just you trying to understand what is expected. I think that's the main point. So the coding challenge I got was to like solve, even if it is just a backend, or you can do the both backend and front end, but don't spend more than this hour on it, right? So like that, when you get a coding challenge like that, they know what they are doing also. So don't go and spend a lot of hours more than what they said, and then trying to get the back end and the front end ready. And at the end of the day, you won't be able to defend how you got it ready within the hour, right? So it was more of like me, like them saying that not there's not like a real a specific a specific question. It's just like solve one problem, and then I think I pick based on the power cut, just like we experience now. I pick more like electricity stuff, and I worked on the back end only, right? And then it was me doing what I know how to do best. Yeah, so I ensure that I did the back end only within the hour given, and I didn't bother to touch the front end because I believe in perfection than having a lot of code that is buggy.
Mm-hmm.
So defending the code is now what you don't have to be tense. You are the one that write the code. So even if someone is going to tell you something is not right in your code, the person is giving you a suggestion, right? Just see it as a suggestion, right? And yeah, during the coding, like defending the code online, the live session, they ask why I didn't work on the front end, right? And I'm like, given the time we have with the front end, I'll be able to do this. I made them know that I know what I'm doing with the front end. Yeah, sure, I can do this, and then have React use React to work on it. Then have a button that when you click on it, it generates the electricity you've used and so on. I explained that, then I now told them that, but I couldn't do it because of the time given, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that, I've shown to them I know what I am doing, and then I went into the code to like explain what I did, and then the question keep coming in. Yeah, I know it is two developers on the team, and you know how it could be when we are engineers. Question is going to be coming in, so but don't be tensed. You'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, you can even ask them, "Do you mind noting the question in the chat, right?" While I answer them one by one. If you notice they are coming too much, and yeah, so there was honestly just be you, as long as you know what you're doing and you know that you are the one that write the code. Make sure you wrote it, and make sure you write what you understand.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you can exceed the expectation, but don't over exceed expectation. I think that is it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's important, exactly like you were saying, like it's important to be honest. Like if the time frame that they've given, do what you know you can accomplish in that time frame, right?
Exactly.
Um, and sorry, there are some questions about what stack do you work with? Because I don't think we told everybody that.
Yeah. So I think working with Andela has made me as like I've been able to pick things. Maybe at Andela, there might be a client, you might love that, and that might tell you we have a partner that needs this. Even if it is not your stack, if you're able to defend that you can find your way around it, then you will be assigned to the partner. So with that, because of that, I've been able to like work in various stacks. So I use Man, I use Pran. So basically JavaScript, React, I do Angular, I do Node.js, and then I do PHP Laravel, TypeScript as framework. Yeah.
You're a little varied in what you do, which is good. How many years of experience did you have before being hired through VanHack?
4 years.
4 years.
About
Okay.
4 years. Yeah.
Okay. Just looking at the questions here. Does the interview focus more on the technical side, and how long was the interview for each company? So for that, It's gonna really depend, right? Like every company has a different hiring process.
Mhm.
Typically, and this is gonna change sometimes, but the most common steps are screening and then an HR type interview. So more of the behavioral questions, getting to know you. Then there's usually the technical interview, the coding, and then typically a final round. But again, that can change depending on the company. Interview times can change. I know one of the companies we work with does, I forget what a top grading interview. It was a new thing to me. I hadn't heard of it before, but those take like 3 hours, which is nerve wracking. Typically, though, how long were your interviews, Rukayat?
Okay, so the technical interview was 1 hour. The behavioral is just 30 minutes.
Mhm.
And the final interview was 45 minutes. And the initial interview I had with Nadine was just 30 minutes also.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Typically, they're about 30 minutes to an hour each
yeah.
interview. So, yeah. What is the first step to get hired? Well, Rohit, the first step would be to make a profile on VanHack if you don't have one yet. But then you need to apply, right? Like that is really, really the biggest thing is being, like Rukayat said, being proactive, making sure that your VanHack profile is showcasing you well, right? Like how did you find filling out your profile?
How did I find? Can you ask again?
So when you were creating your profile on VanHack and you had to type in everything, how was that? Did you ever go back and like edit and change it up?
Yeah, I actually went back to edit, honestly, because I feel like so when I was setting up the profile, I'm just like writing an overview. I work with Anila, I work with this, but I didn't have like a description. Just like I said, market yourself. Like you have to describe what you do for a particular company, what you did there. So I went back to edit all those. So I took my time and not just write everything. If you know it's going to take in a lot, you can just do some parts and then go back to it. It's better to have a very good profile than just rushing it. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. For you, this is a great question. How long did it take for you in particular from when you created your profile to getting a job?
Oh yeah. So it took me. Did I keep track? Okay, so when I created my profile, I didn't. I applied for some job and then I got like distracted. Also, I didn't apply again. So I got not distracted. Let me tell you what. I got pregnant.
Okay.
I was devoting my time and working on some personal projects, so I didn't apply
Mhm.
anymore. So I was doing the personal project, and then at the time when I was like 7 months. So I'm gonna say when I was like 7 months pregnant or something, then I started applying. When I found out about the event, I'm like, I have to take an opportunity. I have to join this opportunity. And then even during this their interview, I was pregnant. Even my last interview, I just gave birth. Something like that. So I think everything is determination. I remember my husband telling me that you just gave birth yesterday. Tell that you want to move the interview. I said, no, I'm not moving this interview. Don't
You
mind me.
didn't interview the day you had a baby?
A day after.
What?
So actually, it depends on your strength. It depends on your strength. Don't mind me, but I'm going to say I don't think I will be able to give you like to from the day I created the profile to the day I get hired because I didn't like apply frequently. I left the platform for a whole lot of time and then come back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? That is actually something some folks do. Like quite a
Mhm.
few Van hackers will create their profile and then kind of forget about it because it's like, oh, I did that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they'll come back like a few months later or whatnot, and improve upon the profile, make it like make it a solid profile, and then start applying again. And that's something that we actually see a lot for event applications, actually, is that it's somebody brand new and they haven't finished their profile. It just like it has like a couple things, and unfortunately we can't look at those really because we don't have enough information. So please make sure that you're getting your profiles completed, because if the profile isn't complete, companies are not going to look at the app. Like, you can apply, but they're likely not going to move forward if they don't have all of the information. Right? I am very in awe of the fact that you did an interview the day after you had a baby. That is amazing.
Yeah. So when I joined the company, and then I'm like, my baby is this month old, because I did interview like October. So I joined. I started in February, and I'm like, my baby is 3 months old. Said, how were you pregnant when we did interview? Because they actually didn't know I was pregnant. They actually didn't know I've given birth. So
Mhm.
I actually don't want to create any pity sign. I
Mhm.
want to do this on my own. And then, yeah. So, like I said, it depends on your strength.
Yeah,
Like
that is very, I guess, inspiring, and like, yeah, that's amazing. I don't think I could have done that, to be honest. Okay, so I'm just seeing if we have any other questions. So Rohi, how to create a profile? You really just go onto the website, and it will guide you through all of that. And yeah, Rohi, so the video intros, the tell me about yourself videos, those are standard. That's how VanHack does the English verifications.
yeah, I did.
You did, yeah. Do you have any resume hints to help stand out for the shortlisting process? So like, how did you, I guess, word your resume?
How can you say that again?
Yeah, I confused myself there. So when you were writing a resume, do you have any tips for resume writing?
Yeah. So when I was updating my resume, I had a tip. So I kind of like gathered the tips a lot. So I got some online that you have to like make it summarized as possible. I also got some on VanHack where somebody was asking about one of the channel in VanHack. Someone was asking about an update for his CV, and then they were giving the person points to watch out for. I
Mhm.
took that as well, and then update my CV, and then like that, I just kind of get all information, not in one place, all information and points somewhere, and then make sure I update my CV to like matches that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so I think my biggest tip here would be to, because everybody is, all over the world, I would definitely recommend researching, like, based on the country you're applying in. So if you're applying to Canadian companies, research like Canadian resumes. Because if you are in Nigeria or India or Brazil and you're looking for resume tips, it's going to give you the local advice, right? So make sure that you're typing in Canadian, or if it's a German company, German resumes, just so you can make sure that you are, following how companies prefer to see resumes where you're applying, because it is different, right? Like, I know in a lot of countries it's still standard practice to have a picture on your resume or to give a lot of personal information, and Canadian culture for resume writing is not to have that. Um, let's see. Do you have to do the VanHack coding test before applying? No. We do recommend doing it because it can make your profile stand out a bit more. but it is not mandatory to do coding challenges.
Mhm. And also, there might be some jobs that actually it's going to be stated there that you have to have done the coding challenge.
Yeah, so that is also that's a good tip, is that some of the positions, some of the companies that work with VanHack, they do have that requirement for their posting. Not everyone does, but we always recommend doing it because it just helps you, I think. Okay, I think we have covered most of the questions that we can answer today. There's one question about certifications needing an expiry date. I don't know. I would definitely, Athira, if that is a requirement and you don't have an expiry date on a certification, reach out to support and ask them how to input that one. Just because I actually am not 100% sure, so I'm sorry about that. So, this is a good question, Rukayat. So, do technical interview rounds include data structure algorithms and system design?
Yeah, some might, because I've done a technical challenge that has to do like algorithm. Like, it's not you building something; it's like algorithm. There, you just jump on a call, and then they ask you to solve something. And yeah, so it depends on the preference of the company, right? And
Mhm.
then sure, you can ask questions. So I have done an interview whereby the position was front end, and then I got algorithm as not just algorithm, it was more of like a backend ish stuff for the coding challenge. Yeah, I tried my best, but at the end of the interview, I kind of like asked question from the person why it is like that. What I just want to be sure, is that the position you're looking for. But so it depends on the company. You might get funny coding challenge that you'll be like, okay, so I've been in a technical interview where somebody's asking me, okay, when you go to the browser and then you eat facebook.com, take for instance, what happens? Then I explain what happened, but the person want me to go deep, more of like a DevOps thing. You understand? So I believe you should be able to compose yourself, answer to the best level you can, and yeah. So it all depends, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take one more question just because I'm looking at the time. And Rukayat, how did you prepare for speed networking?
How do I prepare for?
The speed networking at the event.
Can you say that again? I'm not sure I get that.
So at the event, when you were meeting with the companies it was about 5 minutes. How did you prepare for
Yeah,
that?
event. Yeah. So because by default I've prepared myself to be to be proactive, honestly. So I didn't have like any huge, and then I had tips on how to take behavioral interviews, because I feel the communication via the event, the first communication is more behavioral.
Mhm.
But if someone from the company is a technical person, then you should expect technical questions, because I do within that 5 minutes, some company actually ask technical questions. Funny.
Yes.
So it's just you getting prepared. Once you have tips, I think you don't have like any special preparation for any interview you're going to. Just have tips for how best you can prepare when it's a behavioral interview, how best you can prepare when it's technical interview, and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, and to add to that, having your elevator pitch and the answer to tell me about yourself, that is going to be the most important way to prepare for speed networking and VanHack events, because every conversation you have, the person will likely say, "Tell me about yourself."
Mhm.
Um, and as I mentioned earlier, we do have preparation classes for events now. So take advantage of those because they are very helpful in getting you prepared. I am going to thank Rukayat so much for coming and giving us this hour out of her day to share her experience. It was amazing having you. Thank you so, so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me.
And anybody else, if we didn't get to your question, I'm very sorry, but you can definitely feel free to reach out on Slack. I'm at VanHack-Courtney in our Slack network. So you can definitely feel free to reach out to me there, and I will answer any questions you might still have to the best of my ability. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.